Whether it's Bill Cosby, whether it's R. Kelly, whether it's any of them, if it's an old case, 30, 40 years old like Bill Cosby, you have to pay attention. If R. Kelly has been guilty from day one, did they just now figure that out? Or did they know all the time? Now, those are the only two questions. Because the way that they're presenting it is he's been a prolonged rapist for a very long time. Now, I ain't saying whether he's innocent or guilty. I'm bringing y'all attention to how they're using this to cover something else up. Whether he innocent or guilty, it's going to be determined when all of the facts finally be revealed. And that's another story. But as far as for if he was guilty 25 years ago, think about that. If he was guilty 25 years ago, if he was guilty 25 years ago and he got exonerated from everything, and all of this time he's been repeatedly doing this all over again for 25 years without nobody stopping him, y'all need to think. What are they trying to get your attention away from? Why are they trying to get you to look at R. Kelly? Because for 25 years, they didn't give a damn. For 25 years, they didn't care about these women. For 25 years, that they supposed to know all this stuff was going on, they didn't care. What are they distracting you from? Bill Cosby. They said he did this stuff 35 years ago. So for 35 years, they knew this happened. For 35 years, they knew this happened. And for 35 years, they knew that he was sending hundreds of black children to college, trade school, that he was paying massive amounts of money to support many black charities. Not until he tried to buy NBC did he ever have an issue with them people. I'm not saying whether he's innocent or guilty. I'm saying think, people. I'm saying that if he was doing this for 35 years, he drugging and raping. This is a high-profile figure. A high-profile. He walks around with entourage. Y'all got to remember this about these men. They walks around with entourage. There's groups of people that's with them everywhere they go. So they let Bill Cosby run rampant for 50 years, uninterrupted about anything sexual for 50 years. 50 years they saying he's been raping these women and drugging them. I don't know, I wasn't there. But I know these people will not let us do something of that magnitude for that period of time unanswered unless they can use it to their own advantage. That's the same with R. Kelly. I'm not saying whether he's innocent or guilty. I'm saying that if he's been guilty for 25 years. Now notice all of these things are what you call back to back to back. All of them. If you want to know why Michael Jackson is dead, and you want to know why they accused him of child molestation, I'm going to tell you, go back to a black or white video. I think it was the Yo MTV Awards in 90. It was somewhere between 91 and 93. At the end of the video, the fan was blowing on him in the T-pose. In his shirt, he had a white shirt, it was blowing the wind, and then about a whole stage full of kids ran out and rushed Mike. Now, I'm going to show you how short our memories are with this one, too. So, they gave him rave reviews on the performance at first. 2 days later, the reports changed. Mike thought he was the Christ, and he needed to be stopped because nobody of his status should try to influence the world into thinking they're the Christ. We forget about this is what happened with Mike. Now, less than 2 years later, he's charged with the first sex case. Less than 2 years later. Now, where's the parallel? The document is the government document called COINTELPRO Mission Statement. It's not a secret and it's easy to find. COINTELPRO, Counterintelligence Program, Mission Statement, where it clearly states that they would stop the rise of any potential messiah who would incite the masses. Mike incited the hell out of the masses. So when he did the T-pose and they started saying, hey, he might be the Christ, he got to go. He was marked from that day forward. People that knew me when he was found not guilty of the last farce, I said they gonna give him he got less than 5 years. They're gonna kill him because the people not believing the bullshit. They're not falling for it. Mike being a molester. They're not believing it. They have not produced any credible evidence to date of Mike ever molesting anybody. But it's easy for the public to fall for it because he's such a high-profile eccentric, a savant. And because he's such a high-profile savant, his oddities make it easy to accuse him of something. But they cannot produce any tangible evidence of any sort. Now, y'all got to remember, one of the things that got him exonerated on the case was the boy described his genitalia. And they took pictures of Mike, and the description the boy gave did not match. That's how he beat the case. We forget that. We forget that a lot of the follow-up after the trial found a lot of that stuff to be fluff with no substance. But people get so caught up on the theme of the story and the sensationalism, but they're telling you in plain sight what they're doing to this man, why they doing it, and you have to either be perceptive enough to help this man be safe and give you the best quality Michael Jackson he can give you, or you can jump on the bandwagon and throw up your condemn the rapist sign with no evidence. Now, have you ever been falsely accused? And if you have, how did you feel? Now, in the case of somebody like Michael Jackson, when you realize how you felt, turn it up about 50,000. Because the magnitude of people who honored this man and he wanted to hold their reverence, the magnitude of effect that would have on somebody like that, they was trying to make him commit suicide. The real story of Michael Jackson is, once they realized he thought he was the Christ, they realized after that point, he tricked them out of Sony. He really got to go. He tricked them out of Sony. He got 52% controlling interest. He can tell Jimmy Iovine, Ted Fields, and all them to kiss his ass, and Clive Davis, all of those dirty record execs, those blood worshippers, Babylonian money magic magicians. He could tell them to kiss his butt. He got the control. Mike has to go. So I don't care if what your ethnicity is right and wrong is wrong. We sit here accusing this man with no evidence. No evidence. They tried to say the man was molesting Macaulay Culkin and hurt Macaulay Culkin's feelings. Why would you say my homeboy did that? That's just wrong. We forget those things. They tried to say he molested Gary Coleman. And Gary Coleman was like, what? What's the other little boy They call him Webster. Webster, he was blue black. He couldn't believe they said that about Mike. And we wiped that out the way in order to accept the gossip aspect. And that's where we wrong at. Do the research, gather the evidence, and look in their FBI files. If you want to know what's going on the West Coast with our entertainers, stop looking at this Illuminati distraction shit. Pull some FBI files. When you pull out FBI files, every entertainer that you done found mysteriously dead in the last 50 years got the same name pop up in all their FBI files as extortioners, intimidators, and people who offer their services for protection against unsavory threats. That's extortion. But they use it just as that part because they can't say they extorting them because they got to also prove that they threatening them. But they can protect them from the threat. And so when you look back over all these artists' career and you match their FBI files up and one group of people pop up, Babylonian money magicians, we should start to ask some questions and we should start trying to help people live a healthy life free from all of that sorcery. We're going to close you out with Hollywood. The word Hollywood means holy wood. It's built on the West Coast because of the redwood forest. The red being the blood of the Christ, the wood being the cross. So they named it Hollywood. But it also is the holy wood or the hallowed wood or the wormwood in which the resurrections takes place in the West. Because they use this to make wands, a magic wand, to cast spells. So they do a casting call and then they do a reading. A reading is a determination if you are proper for the casting. What are they casting? Hollywood with this spell. Pay attention. They tell it to you in plain sight. And California is Kali and Narnia. Look them up. California is Kali and Narnia. Kali is the goddess of the thugs. The Thuggee is what they call them in India. They were commissioned as Robin Hood to keep the balance of wealth. They was commissioned to rob the rich, and feed the poor. That was through the goddess Kali, the dark mother, who we talked about earlier, is Diana, the god killer, who was protector of the earth. They call Kal-El, who they undermined as Helen and call her Superman in pop culture. But now they have to tell you the truth that she's really the Supergirl, and her name is really Kali because she about to come back as the Mother Isis, and we about to be fixing this real soon. So I ain't made up my mind the next subject, so I'll take any suggestions anybody have, and I'm gonna wrap this up here. I hope y'all enjoyed. Thanks for listening to me, and I hope I can get to help y'all to grow and evolve into this new reality that we moving in. Y'all, peace and good fortune. So this is the 1110 on the 818 flip out on the queen, flips queen to queen. So as I go in here, get me an ashtray. So as I get ready to do these invites, I want to go over a couple things. Yesterday, I was talking to the brothers on lockdown. In the course of that, the Facebook people felt that it was appropriate to block a sizable portion of sound in a couple of my videos, and they sent me notification that they was doing it. So, if it's about the music, they said was copyrighted or some shit. It's just incidental music playing in the background of a fucking video of a motherfucker talking. Just ain't no goddamn money making scheme. No financial gain was sought using that. It was only for artistic expression. Fucking idiots. Anyway, so that's the musical warning that we picked up. So today, Red Lodge flips me a riddle. But it was a simple one because I already knew it was coming. Because I already solved it a long time ago, which is already recorded. So they flipped me out the two left-hand queens, high and low. Well, that's a problem if you don't know what you're looking at, because you're saying left hand, high and low. Left hand low, it's the father off the right hand low. So from where I'm sitting, we talking about the 313 and the 708, where the king's reflected by the queens. So I have to identify two queens of the stones where I'm at, but I also have to identify two queens of the stones in Chicago. Now, they all came up when I was flipping hearts of gold, and I've been knowing them all. I know who they are. So the Red Lodge, in the raising of a Red Lodge queen, I have to identify these four queens to her this morning to close up the last remaining doors where you had somebody who refused to be seated. So somebody else had to be seated in their stead, and then you had to raise what they call a rising star, which would be a newborn baby who came through flipping like she was a master, and it flipped out that she was a newborn old soul in the messages. So all four queens of the Peace Stone Nation, Chicago and Michigan, have been identified. So you could take it for what it's worth. You put it in the mix. I'm the baddest motherfucker to ever do this shit. I know who is who and what is what. You know. So no spirit can deceive me. That's the only thing I wanted to do, was not be deceived, and I can handle the rest of that shit. Because I got all of the stuff I need to pass the test. I'm going to do a couple more invites. And so, all right. So when we get to this point, I've been following signs for 50 years. It always happened exactly like I wanted to. But if I wasn't following the signs for 50 years, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So to stop following them now, I'd be a damn fool. It's been put me in the position to do a lot of good for a lot of people. So I gotta do what I already know is right, and then the rest of it to take care of itself. So they want to complain about music, and I was talking to the brothers upstate. So for those who ain't never been on the inside, you might not be able to relate to these bars. I want to see them say that this is copyright infringement, because I wrote this shit from experience. So I tell all my brothers up the way, I say, what these niggas know about a life in a pen, making love to your wife with a pen. But in the end, you can't keep a chick with a letter, sport coat, reading your letters, dick in the better, decreasing your cheddar. First sign it's over. Don't fret, nigga, time to be a soldier. On a small or big yard, take out your aggression. Resort to hard shit for a lack of affection. Ain't no protection from religious philosophers here. The first warning, predators feed on fear. Shit, I'm in my own zone, bitch niggas keeping me stressing. I'm by my bunk late night, mama praying for blessings. Been gone too long, stuck locked in the cell, doing hard ass time. These niggas sick as hell. Two niggas got shanked last week in holy war. They claim to be religious. These niggas rotten to the core. For sure you got some with a golden tongue, preaching redemption all the time, but they souls is none. Got me cooking orange juice cause I need a drink. I'm copped a chronic on the yard, I need a weed to think. Hoping they release me for the streets to roam with freedom from stress, nigga. I'm in my own zone. So they don't understand living in that cage. In them single mans when the only thing you can do is face your demons head on. You realize when you really wake up, you've had a demon in your one-man cell the whole time. So you say, I got a demon in my cell, got me fighting for life, trying to take my mind. Am I wrong or right? Lord help me, I can't breathe. I think I'm starting to choke. So I continue to fight. I use my sheet for a rope. Where is my hope in this miserable place of existence? Every young black male, hope you're paying attention. Fire and brimstone burn, I can smell the fumes. A dark cloud settles, starts to fill the room. I'm struggling in my cell, steady gasping to breathe. It's just the hellish fate of a black corrupted seed. Cell walls closing.